Hey, Mark here, and I have a fun giveaway for you. I have 5 Blu-ray copies of Season 2 of Tulsa King starring Sylvester Stallone, and it's actually pretty good timing because the topic of this week's episode is our favorite movie bosses, and the tagline for Season 2 of Tulsa King is "The Boss is Back." Works out really well. But if you want to win a copy, just shoot me a message and be like, "Hey, Mark, I would like to enter for a chance to win a copy of Tulsa King Season 2 on Blu-ray." The Boss is Back in Season 2 of the hit series Tulsa King, starring 3-time Oscar nominee Sylvester Stallone. Get a fresh look behind the scenes with 2 exclusive featurettes, including Stallone's tribute to fellow cast and crew and the creative process for writing dynamic storylines. Own Tulsa King Season 2 on DVD and Blu-ray now. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who would gladly quit his job to manage a water park. It's Erik Hoffmeyer.
Man, who wouldn't?
Especially that time, like just that moment. Like, remember when you and I were younger and we went to camps? Like, we didn't stay at camps long, but we did a camp in Minnesota, and it was there was no. It was just cool. There was no phones. And I'm saying phones are fine, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that, but like, remember when we were at camp and it was just we were there. And we're just like, it was kind of
You're
lo-fi.
100% immersed and present.
It was like lo-fi, like it was just a good time. Like, you're just there. And so like I just love the vibe of way back, because like just it felt like that water park felt like a relic. It felt like what's that, Midnight in Paris? The kid went back in time to like
All the nostalgia.
to like go back to this water park.
I tell you what, I have one condition though with water parks. It can't be in a warm climate state because it's warm all year round. So people kind of get accustomed to the weather. I need to manage a water park that's in New England or the Midwest. Like Wisconsin Dells is actually the capital of water parks, or somewhere in upstate New York.
That's crazy though. The Dells, that'd be too serious of a job.
There's only 3 months where they can enjoy it. So it's like when you have a limited window, it makes it so much more special. It makes those experiences really, there's this great energy in the air in those northern states when it's water park season.
No, I agree. The Dells is huge. I'd want to work at like Hank and Debbie's Excitement Orama Water Park in somewhere in Vermont. That's like the only one around, and that's why everyone goes to it. That's the one I want to work at, because it's like, this place is open for 3 weeks. We gotta use this thing as much as possible.
I want to manage a big place where I have all these high school students running amok, and I'm constantly coaching them and teaching them about life.
Oh, so you're gonna be like Joe, but at a water park. Joe from Empire Records. Yeah. And so the reason we're doing this is Erik and I, we've talked about Empire Records before. We both love way back. And Erik wanted to do an episode about Greyhound, which I probably, since watching it again, I feel like I kind of want to revisit for an episode, because Erik wanted to do Greyhound, but then he figured there probably wasn't enough to talk about, wasn't popular enough. So then we kind of came together and came up with the idea to talk about movie bosses. And Erik put a list of 5 together, wrote an article for MFF. Great article.
That was fun.
And like, I just think it's worth exploring, because I was thinking about this today, Erik. I feel like in movies, there's a lot of bad bosses, like Office Space, and just there's bosses who are just angry or bad or aloof or unqualified or just harassing, and just it makes better drama, I guess, in a film when the boss is bad. That's why, like, when you're trying to put together a list of like, hey, who's a good boss, there's names that come up, but there's far more bad bosses than good bosses. Like, there's a movie called Horrible Bosses. So I think talking about the good bosses in movies kind of eliminates some drama because they're good.
Yeah, and another inspiration is I was researching this, and I was just searching, okay, what are some of the best bosses in film, or the worst bosses? And it's the same entire list over and over and over again. And no one's put any thought into this space about what we can actually learn from movie bosses. And yeah, I know it's tongue in cheek. We get it. We're trying to draw leadership lessons from cinema, but there are some things you can take and apply from a lot of movie bosses. So just seeing all the bad lists out there felt like we could really dive into this and do it more justice because some of these leaders in the movies we're talking about way underrated as bosses and they need more fanfare.
And you took the lead on this, and you proved that you are a good boss because you asked me for recommendations, and I gave you one.
You
You went
did.
and watched the movie, and then you used the person in the list. So
Oh, dude.
you are open for, and you watched a really good movie. You saw a great performance, Independent Spirit Award. We'll talk about it later. But yeah,
Yeah.
you add it into the
Clip.
selection, the five, and
Oh,
it made me
great
very
tip.
happy.
Another under the radar movie that had me hooked from the beginning, but that's number three on my list. And these are in no particular order. And I think it's hilarious you brought up the water park because one of my great bosses in film was Sam Rockwell as
Oh
Owen
yeah.
from the way back. And I think this one's kind of personal because in the movie, this kid, he's like, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that, timid, shy, coming into his own, very dysfunctional family situation. And this manager of the water park came in at the right time, it was like a mentor to him and a boss. And it boosted his confidence. It helped him understand how to deal with people. And it gave him a mentor to look up to from outside his family. And I think that's important because sometimes you need those bosses in your life that fill in the gaps that your parents aren't able to provide. So Sam Rockwell in the way back just was a phenomenal boss. I think he would have been great for a young Mark and Eric
Oh yeah.
back in the day.
He's been great. And I was looking through this movie again. It is a 7.4 IMDb score and an 84% Rotten Tomatoes. And I love how Steve Carell's like a legit abusive stepdad. Like he's a legitimately, but like the way he plays it, you're like, I don't like you anymore, Steve Carell. Like that's like, is that
Man,
who you are? But then great cast, and like, also I think Allison Janney's an underrated movie mom because she always knows where her kids are. Like there's some really great scenes of momming with her, and Tony Collette's A plus. But like
mhm.
having Sam Rockwell and then like Maya Rudolph is his like incredibly patient boss, I think, of
Who's
him.
funny
Yeah,
also.
and but in this movie, he's not like he's not he's just he's always on, there's always bits, so he's definitely masking something that he even said in an interview, like he's always on, so he's masking his own insecurities, and he's definitely an outsider. Didn't he say he just can't do jobs that are too crazy, like this is what he will be? But he's just, everyone likes him, people rally around him. Like the water park seems quite safe, everyone seems quite happy, you
Everyone
know
loves him. And it's
yeah.
this environment where you can go and have fun and be yourself. That's what I really loved about it. And I feel like everyone remembers their first boss, right?
Mhm.
Like I stocked shelves at a grocery store and I had the boss was weird. Like he was all into this grocery store chain. And he would sit me down and be like, Eric, you have to go faster. You're not going fast enough.
uh
So he put me on the cereal aisle where it was easier to fill the fastest. But I mean, in your first job, I mean, when you manage people who are entering the workforce, you have a big responsibility, and people don't realize it because you can set a terrible precedent for them, or you can be a force for good. And that's another reason why I was really drawn to this movie.
He's an absolute force for good. And Janie was one of my first bosses at AMC, and I had her on talking about Session 9 on our podcast. Like we still talk. Like I
She was
think,
so cool, though.
yeah,
She
Janie
was
was awesome. And like she got me. Like she knew who I was at my core, and they just let me be. Like I was an usher. They didn't try to make me do anything else. They knew I was a good usher. I showed up on time. I left late. I would take extra shifts. I was always at the theater. I would take out the trash. I did everything that was asked of me. But like no one rode me. Does that make sense? They knew to
Yeah,
just,
she saw, we were kind of squirrely at the time in high school, like
yeah.
who isn't? And she saw through that and she saw something in you that was going to materialize and develop. And the impacts that these young bosses have on your life is pretty huge.
And my GM there, Carson, he kind of rode me hard, but he trusted me with a lot. But if I didn't do a certain thing, like if I didn't get the blower out when there was 100 people in the theater, he would go get it. Like he trusted me with a lot of things. But when I tried to cut corners, he got on me, and we're still talking. Like we were just messaging the other day about Joker 2. So they all knew me. They knew how to like manage me differently, and we're still cool. Like I think they were really good for me. That's why I love that job so much.
Yeah, and
So
look what
yeah,
you're doing now.
yeah,
You made
in
a
the
career
movies,
in the
yeah.
movies, and these bosses when you were in high school maybe had some impact on this.
And I think good old Duncan and Owen, like Owen's gonna play a big part in his life, I think. And I think what I mean. Owen's like very available, and his Pac-Man introduction's definitely like very convenient.
Cut your own path. Don't
Yeah,
follow the pattern.
and like
Oh
I love
shit.
that about him, but like, he's still I don't know the way Rockwell plays him. He's not like the drunk like Billy Bob or Walter Matthau from Bad News Bears.
Mhm.
He works construction. He's there. He's hurting, but like I think guys like him manage kids like that expertly because they can see it. Like if you're like an Ivy League boss, you're gonna be like you're a 3, you're not a 10, But if you're a damaged person and you find damaged kids coming to your job or hurt kids, you're gonna deal with them better because you can read that pain. And I think that's why you think about the great bosses. He's one of them because you can just see that. But he didn't ride them. He just was a friend.
Dude, I love how you brought up the 3 out of 10. Because if you all don't remember the way back, at the beginning, Steve Carell asked this kid, the mom's boyfriend, to rate himself on a scale of 1 to 10. And he's reluctant, but he gets bullied into saying a number. So I think he picks like a 6 or something like that. And then Steve Carell tells him that, no, I rate you a 3 because of this. And I'm like, if you want to destroy somebody, that's how you do it in that formidable time in their life in high school. And then at the end, Rockwell brings it back to the beginning, and he goes in front of Steve Carell and he says, I'm a friend of the 3. Just,
No.
I mean, that was like, it gives me chills just thinking about it. The great writing, the standing up for him, with that person, and just everything he gave that kid for his life is unbelievable.
And him sticking up for Duncan, Owen stepping up for Duncan allowed the mom, Pam, to go sit with him in the back. Like she saw the strength that he got from Owen, and that gave her
Yep.
strength to do that. Because that Trent, he's like the stereotypical, like we're all in this together. He's like that really like manipulative dude. And it just, yeah, just the way Sam Rockwell's perfect though. And then Maya Rudolph, she's like, just, do you like me or not? I'm tired of your crap. And he's just, I don't know. I think she puts up with him. Everyone kind of puts up with him, but no one's judged too. No one's like, hey, loser. Like he's just, everyone likes the guy. Like he's a local. Everyone likes him.
What was your favorite Sam Rockwell moment of the movie?
My favorite. I mean, I don't know. It's a little aggressive, but I like when Steve Carell goes to grab the kid and Rockwell just kind of stands in front of him, like moves to the side in
Mm-hmm.
front of him. And I think it showed more layers to him. Like this guy's super precocious. No, he's not precocious. He's older. This guy's super, he's just a quirky dude, but like he'll put the serious face on and go right in front of you. And I like that. I like also too when he made Pop and Lock go move the cardboard. Like you go
Classic.
do it. Like you do it. Like I don't need to do it. Like you do it. And I don't think that's lazy either. I think he's just trying to help the kid. So
It's a
those are my
baby
two.
bird moment. You got to
Yeah.
push that baby bird out of the nest. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in high school working at a movie theater, I'm sure the boss made you work with an irate customer at some point, or some kind of drunk person trying to watch a movie.
Janie had to deal with me because I would have name tags that said Biff or Bucky. Like I never wore my name because I was just a brat. And I was just, I don't know, print something out for me. And then I wrote Biff, and I was Biff and Bucky and Sven for the longest. Someone complained to Janie, they're like, that Sven is a real a-hole. And I wasn't
It's
being
like, who's
rude
Sven?
because I just used to be like, hey, have a nice day. Like, see you soon, if not sooner. Like, I would be really friendly to people when they're leaving. And I think angry people hated that. And so sometimes, and then if they said something rude to me, I'd retort back. And then they went and complained about Sven. So
Yeah,
they,
and I love the calculated risk of that pop and lock moment from
yeah.
the way back. Just handle it. That's how you get your confidence up. You get your confidence up from facing these tough situations and standing up for yourself. I mean, so he knew what he was doing there.
And then I
Oh,
think
and the
my,
part of the loudspeaker when the girl went to visit him at the water park, that was hilarious.
I
Just
guess
embarrassing him.
he got way too aggressive on it for a while. And then people at the park were like, hey, Sam, calm down. Because I guess he was bringing up some crazy stuff. I guess he forgot that he was, at a water park. But yeah, he was hilarious. We are definitely not talking about you. Yes, we are talking about you. Great boss. And I mean, listen, people love this movie. I mean, you tell the people who watch like way back, they're like, yeah, I get it. Like 7.4 is a pretty monster score on
Mhm.
IMDb. Like that's a big one for like a movie like this, and I love it. Oscar winners, Jim Rash and Nat Faxon wrote it, which makes me happy.
That's great. Okay, so Sam Rockwell, way back, was pick number one. I'm going to shift gears now for our second pick for a great boss. We went from kind of the drama comedy. Now I'm going to big blockbuster action movie. And my next pick is Rebecca Hall as Dr. Eileen Andrews from Godzilla.
And
What's the
Kong.
X?
I don't know, man. It's
Is
just
it Godzilla and Kong, the new empire? What is
yeah,
the X in there? Times?
times I should know, but I just say Godzilla and Kong.
Godzilla, New Empire 2024. So she was the main character who adopts the girl from the first Godzilla vs. King Kong. Rebecca Hall is what I call the top of the game boss. I think there was a mention in this movie where she had two PhDs. But isn't it great to start at a job and work for someone who is extremely talented and smart? I mean, isn't it great? Like you go into a job and you're like, wow, this person knows what they're doing. And it's just such a great feeling. Because, if you're working somewhere and you're smarter than your boss, there's some friction that can happen. But when you're like, damn, she is the top of the game, brilliant. And there's a couple things I loved about her in this movie is that she was operating on the big strategic level, managing Hollow Earth, but she was still managing people and
Mhm.
being a mom and doing all this together. And there's one scene I loved is one she let her team do wacky stuff. The veterinarian running amok. I loved how she went to the podcaster for outside help when they couldn't figure out the problem. She's like, we got to look at this problem differently. So they went back and they brought in the podcaster. I forgot his name. Oh, Bernie Hayes was in the movie, who is Brian Tyree Henry, the
He's
actor.
great. Yeah.
That we need an outside perspective. And it takes a lot of leadership to realize we can't solve this on our own. We need someone who thinks differently. And the other thing I loved is maybe this is just the military side of my brain is you love a leader who's going to lead from the front. Like when you got to go into hollow earth, the boss is going. The boss is going to be on that tremendously painful flight down,
Yeah. Oh
down
gosh.
there. And she's going to put herself in danger just like everyone else because a lot of weak bosses would not do that. They'd be like, they would just send the team down and they would manage from the headquarters. So I think she should have been nominated for an award for this movie. That's a hot take. I think she was really underrated as a performer. What do you think about this, Mark?
Listen, I think Rebecca Hall is one of the best working actor directors today. She's in a movie called The Night House. She's in another film. I can't remember the name, but I really believe that she is one of the best actors. And I kind of felt bad because she went through this string of movies. She was in The Town, she was in The Prestige and Iron Man 3, and just grossly underused in all three of them. But the reason she was in all three of them is because all the directors were like, "You're great. You just want to come in our movie because we love you, but we have nothing for you to do." So it's like everyone loved her, but they just had no role for her. And then
Hmm.
eventually she broke free. She made this movie called Passing on Netflix that did really well. And she's just been appearing in a bunch of cool movies lately. And I think she's just an incredible actor. And you know what I love too about this movie? It's both Godzilla versus Kong and then Godzilla and Kong. Like, like he got like the director on this, Adam Wingard. He's a former horror movie director, and like Rebecca Hall loves him. Dan Stevens loves him. Like they weren't even going to make more
Mhm.
Godzilla movies, and he brought it back. And so this guy has Rebecca Hall in his movie, and he called her up. He's like, "Hey, we want you to be the big boss in the next one." She's like, "Well, I cut my hair." He's like, "That's fine. Like, we'll just lean into it." Like he's like, "I just want you here." And like I love that like Rebecca Hall is a serious actor who like takes her craft seriously. And then she and Dan Stevens, who are friends from like Juilliard, are just using Australian accents, plopping teeth out of giant
Oh, they
apes.
had great
But
chemistry.
yeah,
They really did on screen.
they're like best friends in real life. And
You could feel it.
she brought him in, and that's good leadership on her part. I'm just the actor, but yeah, her character in this movie is great. You're right though, because she was on Skull Island for like 10 years,
Yep.
learning Kong. Then she adopts a daughter, and then she goes on a boat ride with one of the craziest fights ever. Goes into Hollow Earth. She's there when Mecha is fighting, and then she's like, "Okay, we'll go back in and see what this is all about." And then she helps lead everyone to victory. But yeah, like she thinks outside the box. She brings in podcasters. She's like, just yeah, that's who you want as a leader. And yeah, like there'd be no complaints working for her. I think you'd just be like, okay, I'm working for a very cool, smart person who,
Top of their game,
yeah,
man. Like
yeah,
that's the boss I want. I love the point you brought up because it made me think of the Marvel movies. You know how some Marvel movies got some heat, like oh they're ruining cinema or whatever. I love how you can have a serious, classically trained actor operating at a high level within a blockbuster about these giant titans rumbling. And
yeah,
it's not either or. You can have really strong, smart performances within this environment. And she didn't overdo it. She was just smart, like a leader. It was fantastic performance. The sign language, I believed it. I don't know what she was doing with her hands. I mean, I assume that she learned sign language,
yeah.
but I totally believed it. So She is my pick for a top boss.
Like she she brings in a dentist who can take out Kong's tooth. Like there's not many people on the planet that can do that. Like, so Eric, you're in charge of Kong. Hey, we need to take out one of his teeth. And you're like, she has a guy that can remove Kong teeth. And so, and then there's a power glove ready. You're like, yeah, we had to,
well, that's called future proofing. That's what leaders do is you're thinking about the future. You're like, okay, where are our vulnerabilities and what can we do to make this not happen again? And it worked out. Like, it's amazing.
And it's not like the over cumbersome suits from Edge of Tomorrow. This was just a power glove that just loaded up. And I love that. You're right. She saw how successful Mechagodzilla was. Okay, we need some of that tech. And then they had it. And they brings it really quickly over. And then she has a teenage daughter who's like, meeting her people. And she's like, well, I guess you're going to stay. She's like, no, like my mom's cool. I got top of the game, mom. Like I'm not ditching this.
Yeah. What was your favorite part from the movie with her?
Oh man. I really think it's the podcasting part because there's some funny bits in that. She's like, I promise you this. She's like, well, you really can't promise me all that. And then like she brings him with, and like she's just like, come on, like I trust you, like come with me. Like I love that conversation she had. And I like that the guy's like, you can't give me all that. But I like that she wasn't like, what's this podcast thingy? You know what I mean? Like, what's this? Like, it wasn't.
She knew it was up.
Yeah. In some of these movies, like she knows he's pretty good with all this stuff. Like, I think in some of these movies, are like, well, what do you do? Like, what's this? Like, or like they look down on him. She just went in there to hire him, and that was cool. Like, there was no, I'm smarter than you. There was no, hey, this guy's silly. Let's see what happens. This is a bad decision. It was a calculated move, bringing on a smart guy who had been there before. I mean, he helped save the world in the past film. They took a tunnel from Florida to Hong Kong, I think, Eric. That's the longest underground tunnel ever built in secret. But we'll get to that to another episode. But yeah, she just trusted.
They went through a tunnel?
Yeah. They went through an underground tunnel from Florida to like Hong Kong. But like, she knew he was there. She knew all about him. She knew like it wasn't condescending. She's like, just come on, like you're coming with me. Like you don't have to fight about all this. So it was just a good, smart leadership and like no BS. Like it's just very Rebecca Hall because she's great.
Yeah, I've had fun. I really liked it. Probably it's because my kids have gotten into the old Godzilla movies and we're rewatching them. And then you see all the stuff that they brought from the older Godzilla movies into these ones right now with Mothra, the hidden tribes, the prophecies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prophecies in the original movies. And it was a lot of fun to see how they're plucking bits and pieces into these new movies that they're making right now.
So she's in a movie called Resurrection. I don't recommend it for everyone because it's insane. But there's a moment when she delivers a 7-minute monologue, and it's so good. I didn't realize she was monologuing.
It's like True Detective level monologues.
Like in some movies though, you can feel the monologue. You're like, oh man, they're about to monologue. Like you just feel like, oh wow, this is epic. This is like, oh, it's a monologue. And her monologue in this movie was so good, I didn't realize how long it was. If that makes sense. Like it was. So that like I was like, oh, she's great, very good actor. But yeah, I had to bring that out there because I think she's a great actor.
Yeah, and so let's move on to my next one. I got a third one for you. I think you're gonna like. This one's really different of a movie. We covered the movie Empire Records on the podcast together, and we talked about a lot of different characters. But someone that stuck out to me was Anthony LaPaglia as Joe Reeves in Empire Records. He was the store manager. He's what I call the authentic boss.
Yeah.
So he's rock and roll to his core in this movie. He's got the attitude. He's jaded.
Twice divorced.
Yeah. Like imagine if you worked at a golf country club and then the pro was this ultra golf guy or lady or whatever. Mark, you worked at a bar. You had a seedy owner of the bar who was totally seedy. And, it fit the bar owner. Or if you worked at a marina or if you worked anywhere and the boss is so authentic to the work and it just fits and it's fun. And I love this. And can you imagine working for this guy when we were in high school? And because how much fun would that be? He took this like hands-off approach, let people be their weird selves and have this refuge where they can talk about music. And it was the perfect type of boss for the moment. I'm not saying he's a great boss. He was a perfect boss for that store and that environment.
Well, he would have been great for me because there's a scene where Renee Zellweger sleeps with with Rex Manning, and there's a big fight, and he's like, "You need to go home, Renee Zellweger." And she's like, "Am I fired?" He's like, "Well, I haven't fired anyone today. Why would I start with you?" Like, I think that's a really good lesson for these kids because I think growing up, you're oh, we got into a fight, we're not friends anymore. You did this, you're fired. Like you don't have this like you can mess up, but you're not fired. Like I think that would have been important for me growing up because I always felt like doing something was like the end of the world. And so having him like put up with my BS and like not fire me, I think would make my behavior better or like make me settle down because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to be against the world. I don't have to. Does that make sense? Like I
Yeah.
I can mess up and he won't fire me. Like I can learn from this and like he'll still beat you up. Like he'll take you if you lose his money, he will, he'll beat the tar out of you. Uh and I mean justifiably, I think,
But not fire you. He will
yeah,
beat you up.
he lays it on Lucas, but I mean Lucas had
That was his
Luke
nephew in the movie or
like
something like that.
Lucas needed a beat down. Like I'm
Yeah, he
sorry.
needed
Like
an ass whooping.
yeah,
I'll
like
come out and say it.
and I like Joe's the guy to do that. And not a lot of bosses would do that. I'm not saying it's right, but Lucas needed to get thrown around. He really did. And then they were cool. Like it was like, okay, we're good. But yeah, I just loved it when he didn't fire Renee Zellweger. I like, just the way he dealt with just everyone running around him. And when the kid's like, oh, it's 10 years, I'm gonna tell her I love her. And he's like, okay, man, like, yeah, just do it. Like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, sure. And just I don't know. Yeah, for that job, for that time, for that grunge era, yeah, he was probably like the best boss you could hope for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Another fun thing I thought about is you ever walk into a store, restaurant, club, wherever, and there's just this vibe, there's this good energy, people working there are having fun. And then I'm more likely to go to a bar or restaurant when there's a good vibe, when you can tell like there's something fun going on. I'm more likely to go into a store if you like talking to the people working there, if they're really passionate, talking about music and they're having a good time. So it's also too, it's just letting people be themselves and have this environment in the store that's contagious. They had a contagious fun culture there where everyone wanted to work there and people liked hanging out there. And that's a sign of a good boss too, is recognizing when I need to turn it on and when I need to just let these people do their thing because look what we're creating together. Look at this vibe that we have.
And if you worked there, you were cool. Like that was the cool place to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, and like yeah, you're right. Like these kids have a lot of responsibility. Lucas had a lot of responsibility. They open up the store. They deal with the cash registers. Like they know to come in and clean. Like Ethan Embry's character comes in, they already immediately start cleaning. Like this one guy's a little late, but he brings pizza in for everyone to eat.
Yeah, because he was
And
coming off another job.
yeah, he's like, yeah, but I brought pizza. Like, so my bad, I'm late, but here's pizza for everybody. And it's just kind of a cool. Like everyone seems to dig working there, picking the music, and like I like when he goes around looking in the booths. Like I feel like his other employees should do that, but he's tapping on the booth, like, hey guys, knock that
Yeah.
out.
But
And
when
he
he corrected people, he wasn't jerky about it. He was just like, no.
well, that's the what's interesting. Uh, you know, I worked at Comic Cons and I was in charge of like a lot of volunteers. Like, so it was my job to be in charge of the volunteers, and like and even with like people, like, any as a leader, like at these shows, like a lot of the if they messed up, I wasn't rude to them. I'm like, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Like I was kind of cool about it. Like I was nice, but like you don't want to threaten anybody and be like, you're doing that wrong or don't do that. Like when you go strong at somebody, their defenses go up immediately. So like with convention goers and my volunteers, I was like, hey, yeah, just like watch that next time because you'll get these people around here. Then like make sure you watch out for this. Okay, got it. Like you don't run over and yell at people. You don't run over and yell at customers because they get defensive. It's like Joe
Mhm.
didn't do that. Like that's what I like about him.
Yeah, when he approached, he was good at approaching people
Yeah.
too. And remember the one Deb, she shaved her head, she had suicidal thoughts. And when he approached her, he kind of realized there's nothing he could say. She was just going through a tough situation. But he just said, "Look, you're doing a great job, Deb.
Yeah, that was good.
We love having you here." And it's just approaching, knowing the right way to approach people and get through those defenses. And that one landed
Yeah,
like that.
it did. Yeah, it
That
hit her
one
good.
landed,
Yeah.
yeah. And she wasn't expecting that. She was expecting some kind of pep talk or lecture. But it's just that you're doing a great job, and that told her that she's valued. She's got a home. She's appreciated, and those are really takes a lot of emotional intelligence to approach team members going through a tough time like that.
Yeah, that one landed. that was nice. Like
He
you're
cut through the
doing,
defenses.
yeah, you're doing a good job. Like if you would have, whenever someone said, "Are you okay?" Like, what's that? Like that one dude really who's the guy that's like all about what's the guy he was gonna say all of his love for one of the character he loved Liv Tyler.
AJ? It was
Yeah,
AJ.
like AJ was his honor. Like, what's the deal? What's the deal? And she got her defenses up, and he tried to talk to her in the beginning too. Like, hey, you good? You need to talk to anybody? But then later on, he realized like you're doing a good job, Dad. You're doing a great job, Dad. Like it was that was a good one right there. Like that one sunk. So yeah, that's like any boss could learn from that.
What
So I
was the
dig
most
that.
authentic boss you've ever had?
The most authentic boss. Man, I've been a freelancer for so long, but I would say
Or
who's
editor or whatever.
the most authentic boss I ever had. I'm trying to think of bosses that like
You were a
you
teacher, you taught in college, high school,
yeah, but I
you
was
taught
like
in Korea.
they just let me. You know what's crazy when I taught like I taught AP English for almost a year substituting. I taught a special needs class for a semester and no one checked in on me on that one. I think the best bosses were, maybe Mr. Carson because he really did let me do my own thing. But if I like, if I didn't, if there's over 100 people and I decided not to blow a theater, he would come in and start blowing it. Be like, Mark, like, so
This is at the movie theater, you're
yeah.
saying,
And then I
right?
was kind
Okay.
of like, okay, that was my bad because I should have blown it. We had over 100 people. They put me in charge of this. I'm the supervisor. I should have done it. But he didn't come in and yell at me. He just came and started blowing the theater. I was like, okay, I got it, Mr. Carson. Like, my bad.
Oops.
So, like, but that was good. Like he got me to like, I don't know. I wanted more out of myself through him, I guess. So I would say Mr. Carson was like probably one of my best bosses because we never chatted, right? We would talk about sports sometimes, but he let me do my thing. He never bothered me, but he made sure I stayed on it because, like he gave me enough space to do my own thing, but it was nice. Like I learned stuff from him. So I would say Mr. Carson. What about
Okay.
you?
Oh, I had in college, I taught tennis at a golf and tennis country club. My boss was the tennis pro, and he had the long hair. He was in a band. He was big social extrovert, talking to
Yeah.
people, and it was just so perfect. He was such a great mentor toward me. But it was like if you're working at a country club, that's the kind of guy you want there because he was so perfect.
Always a smile. Like just yeah, he put up with a lot.
Yeah, yeah. He put up with me for a couple of years.
Yeah. I
my
like
outbur my outbursts. So
yeah, he was good. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just like in the, Rob at the bar, he's passed away, but like the guy had many faults, right? But he let us do our thing and we had a bunch of personality. And like Big Daddy's was like voted the best bar in America by
yeah,
Playboy. Like and it was a popular bar. And I was like one of the main bouncers there with a couple other guys. And like, but he never told us what to do. Never once did he tell me what to do. Um, if he left the bar and we didn't clean it good, he's like, guys, come back and clean it. Like he you just yeah, you just let us be. That was kind of nice. So I enjoyed work. I built up a lot of confidence. I learned how to deal with a lot of people at that bar. So I think, he paid me cash too at the end of the night, which was nice. But yeah, he just let us do our thing. And then but he
yeah.
didn't accept it if we like cut corners at the end of the night cleaning. Like he still wanted professionalism out of us. So I think those are probably the best bosses, the ones that like give me enough leeway to do my thing, but also if I cut corners, they call me on it.
So that's a great segue because we're talking about Joe from Empire Records who gave people space and other bosses that let you be. I want to shift gears to Regina Hall as Lisa in Support the
Oh
Girls.
man.
Now, I had no idea this movie existed until you recommended it for me. And as soon as you tune it on, you're hooked. I mean, the movie starts with her crying in her car, and it goes through an entire day and a half of her just getting hit from every direction with different issues. And she had the type of leadership style where she had to be very hands-on for her team. Her team needed her.
Hmm.
And, she was standing up for them. She was helping them. She threw a car wash to raise money for one of the servers. And what's interesting too is she really reminded me of like servant leadership, like a lot of stuff you see in the military with, okay, I am going to take all the BS and other things going on so my team can focus on the job. So she really shielded them a lot from a lot of drama and supported them at the same time. But she's a great boss. I mean, like you look at Rebecca Hall and, managing Hollow Earth. You can have a different boss, but doing different types of jobs. You're still a great boss. It's just a lot of those same leadership characteristics. But Regina Hall was fabulous in this movie, Mark.
Like everyone loved her there, and I love the scene where there's this
Mhm.
really biker guy. He's just a real jerk. Calls one of the double whammies employees fat. So she's like, I have a zero tolerance. You got to leave. And he calls her every name in the book. But one thing I like the most is when she's walking over there, she sees Macy, probably her like most loyal employee aside from Danielle, who's great. Like
Yeah,
they're both great employees in that
they're
movie.
good.
And but she sees her kind of flirting with this guy, and she clocks it. And then she goes and deals with the situation, gets him out of there. Some things go by, more things go by. Then later on, she finds Macy, and she's like, Macy, I love you. You're the best. But like, when you do that, you know that you're like my favorite or second favorite, tied for first. But when you do that, the other girls see that, and then they get the bad idea. And like, she's not telling her she did wrong. She's not lambasting her. Like, she just deals with it really well with Haley Lou Richardson, who plays Macy. Like, it's just good management.
Yeah, and
And
I love how she, even when she had to let people go, she was sweet to them. And she's, I'm still going to support you. Like we have to cut ties, but look, I'm still here for you. It's business, and here's why. And that's great because you don't have to be a jerk when you let someone go. You really don't have to. If there's cause and it's all legit, then just be straightforward. Like there's a girl who got a tattoo
Steph
of
Curry.
Steph Curry. It's a sports bar, and she gets a tattoo of an athlete, and then she gets fired because they have a no tattoo policy. so so she's like, she has a drink with her, and vows to support her regardless of whatever happens, but she has to cut ties from this company. And then they had to fire a cook because the cook's cousin got caught breaking in because he knew where the safe was, so he got a tip. But even when she let him go, it was kind of like, listen, I'm not gonna call the cops. We're just gonna part ways.
And he helps
But
her out later on with some stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And also, like,
it,
she takes care of her employee, her that one employee too. But she has an employee staying at her house when her husband's at home depressed, and then it turns out that her ex-employee, who she raises money for to get a lawyer to get away from her abusive ex-boyfriend, gets back with her abusive ex-boyfriend. And
and
then
still
she
tried to take the money that they raised for her.
Yeah, and then she takes, and they're like, nah, you're not gonna do that. And then she's like, no, I'm gonna break your other leg, to the boyfriend. And like she's what's like, she's like, no, like I did this for you, like not this. And it's a good scene, uh, just the way that Lisa like puts her foot down, like, listen, I
Yeah.
want you to get away from him. I'm not giving you this money to give to him. And it's a tense scene too. Like that one, that lady definitely shows her like true colors in that scene. But it's
It wasn't the money, it was the principle of it.
exactly. And
And that scene was tense because if you, a lot of these people are just eking a living. There's a lot of these people working at restaurants. I mean, are going paycheck to paycheck, or eking their way by, and it's kind of tough. I'm not saying everyone, but some people are. And so that was like $2,000 that they raised. So I mean, that's a big chunk of money. But she, she stuck to her guns, and stood on principle that I can't do this.
oh man, she's so good in this movie. And I feel bad that not many people watched it. And it came out, in I guess what they were taught, like they had an interview with Regina Hall, and this movie came out in 2018 when like the Me Too movement was really strong, which it should be. Like it's time for that in the industry. But then you have this movie about ladies working like a Hooters, and everyone kind of got the wrong idea about it. Like they're like, oh, it's like a movie about like a Hooters. Like, why do I want to watch that?
Right.
And like not a lot of people watched it. But then she got an Independent Spirit Award nomination, and then everyone just kept going, wait, this movie's good. And I think this is a movie that needs a bigger audience because like Regina Hall is so good in this role.
Yeah. And I think the
Just
whole movie's about men making women's lives harder is kind of what the
that
whole, right? Isn't that what it,
that terrible boss, like just driving around, and he goes to that guy's house and just gets punched in the gut. Like he's such an
and then
idiot.
has to get back in the car with Gina Hall.
Oh man. And like like, and even when she goes and talks to Brooklyn Decker, like she's not, like I don't think Lisa is a Twin Peaks boss. Like I think Lisa is a Empire Records double whammies boss. You know what I mean? Like she's not.
Yeah.
I don't see her being a corporate shill like Brooklyn Decker's
Yeah,
character
I
was.
think she feeds off of her team, and
Yep.
she lived for those small wins when she was able to help people find childcare or put on this car wash, and she kind of fed off of the ability to be able to support people and care for people. And but I just love the optimistic mentality that she had, even though she started the day crying and going through divorce. I think my favorite quote of the movie was when Regina Hall said, "I can take fucking up all day, but I can't take not trying." That's what I love. I mean, that one got me, and I'm like, okay, that's the movie right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, her is such a good. I like the way she deals with Bobo, the regular. Like she just knows Bobo, like pain in the butt, but always there, always in everyone's business. But like you've done this, Eric. Like at Comic Cons, I would put out 8 different fires at a time, and you're just going from one to one to one to one and sorting things out. There's a high to it. Like I think that's why I did 50 shows for
Yeah,
five,
the
6 years.
dopamine's running. You
Um,
got all this stuff happening. This is it's intense.
like there really is a high from whether in a film set, a food event, a Comic-Con, to like going around and just sorting it and fixing it and figuring it out. And I think her job like bound like and she was talking about the schedule, about the math of it all. And I need to get this person here. I can't put 3 all-stars on at once. I need to split up my all-stars because you need at least one all-star on the table. Like she understands how to hire and how to keep people working. And like that was a good scene because it just shows her philosophy of working. I love that a lot about that scene where she's talking to the kid who's just waiting there. She was trying to teach him about hiring or scheduling, and I thought that was interesting. That was good, and also too,
Yeah.
like so our first one that we've talked about, Sam Rockwell. He's single in the movie. He ends up in a relationship, but he's
Hmm.
single. He's like a lone wolf. And then Rebecca Hall's character, she's single in that movie. And then Anthony LaPaglia, like he's twice
Newly
divorced.
single,
Yeah,
divorce.
newly,
Yeah.
yeah. And then he's kind of getting in a relationship there towards the end of it with Debbie Mazur. And then we have Regina Hall, who's married but kind of going through a divorce. And it's like it doesn't. I think it shows like on many different levels when you are so in the first movie way back. I think he's just always on, and he kind of hides his like insecurities and like eventually Maya Rudolph and him get together because she's like, grow up, dude. And he has growing up to do. But I think in Rebecca Hall, she has like a world saving job and a kid, and she's like, I'm busy. Like I can't do this. And like Anthony Apagia, his life is music, his life is the job. And I think he has those bad relationships. And then in this one, Regina Hall, she's going through a divorce. So it's like these people, it shows like the different type of managers in the workforce. I'm not saying single people do better. You always get a divorce if you do, but it's just interesting how most of these managers, and even the next one we're going to talk about, he gets turned down from a proposal. So it's really interesting to see how like their work sort of takes over their lives, but they're still a very positive influence in people's lives.
Yeah, I hear you. We talked about Support the Girls as criminally underrated movie. I want to shift gears to another tremendously
Yeah,
underrated
you
movie.
picked you picked two criminally underappreciated movies in this. A
Yeah.
cult classic, like a bonkers hit, and then like a way back. I wouldn't call it a cult classic. I would just call it like a because it did well.
Just a
You,
damn good movie that
yeah,
just
damn
kind
good
of
movie. Yeah.
I think this movie Greyhound on Apple TV, it's Tom Hanks as a captain commanding a ship in World War II. Is why has not more people not seen this? I mean, it's so good. So the thing what's interesting about it is he's commanding a ship that is escorting the supply chain convoys from the U.S. to England during World War II. Because if you're going to launch an operation, you need to get people, materials, ammo, food, parts, everything pre-positioned where you need to be. And they were fending off attacks by German U-boats in the Atlantic. And a lot of people don't realize the Battle of the Atlantic and the size and scope of this naval operation. So a lot of times in the World War II movies, you're looking at Germany mostly. You're looking at fighting in mainland Europe. But this was pretty fascinating to see this new take. And it's really a tight thriller. He's commanding a ship, and it's still kind of the standard Hanks, where you're an everyday man who rises up to
Hmm.
do something really special to some extent. But this is what I call the warrior boss. This is like someone who is dedicated to their craft, someone who is serious, who has a sharp code of conduct, who has high expectations. And if you're in war, you don't want someone who's really into your feelings, like a Sam Rockwell or a,
Lapaglia.
or you don't want a Regina Hall. You want someone who is in command.
Hmm.
And that's the type of skill set you need. I'm not saying others are not good bosses, but because they are in their respective environments. But Tom Hanks was amazing in this movie.
Yeah, and that's just, you think about Saving Private Ryan, you think about these movies, and but like this is a different Hanks for me. He's like, he's not playing a role, but he just knows what a good leader should be. Like he's not sitting
Mhm.
down eating a lot. He's like, bring that food to somebody else. But the people in the kitchen want to keep feeding him
They
because
care about him.
yeah, they care him. But like then he's like, but I think he knows his limits. Like there's scenes where he's going to go pass out, but he realizes he can't, so he stays there. He also, like there's that scene where the guy sneezes when he's giving orders, and he's like, "You gonna do that again? No, okay, don't." Like he knows when things are important. He he also too, like if someone makes it, like there's a scene in the movie where someone like does something, like he's not like, you have to talk to me first. No, he has a command and he trusts the people on his boat. Like I think I was reading about this like decentralized command, and like
Mhm.
he just, they're well trained, and he understands that certain situations will not afford them time to have Captain Krause weigh in on critical decisions before actions necessary. So like he has a crew that's empowered. He
Yep.
has, like, I don't know. I just think, and there's also trust too. Like when someone tells him they won't be operating the radar for 2 hours, he's like, yeah, okay, cool. You know this, you've checked everything. I trust you. That's why I brought you on. And so I feel like all these guys were brought in very well trained and very specifically, and they didn't fret when they did their roles. They knew their roles and they knew them well, and they knew they were trusted to do them well. And that's like a great leader right
Yeah.
there. You're not
And
going to get that if you don't have that.
right. I think the few things that really jumped out to me is the humanity where they sunk a U-boat, people were cheering, but he
Yeah,
didn't
50
cheer.
lives are dead.
He felt the gravity of the situation. So he's kind of operating on a different plane a little bit from it. I mean, of course, in war, you're going to cheer a win because it's life or death. So that stood out to me. But there's also the way he corrected people. Okay. So someone messes up, quick correction on the spot, move on, right? You need everyone firing at all cylinders. Just make the correction, teach people on the spot. Everything's a learning opportunity, and continue on with the mission. And the other thing too was the crisp communication. There's no
Oh
words
yeah.
that were unnecessary in this movie. It was, if you give a command, it's in the fewest words possible to communicate the intent. And I don't want a boss I don't know what they're saying. I want a boss who gives me very clear direction about what's happening, and it's unambiguous at all times.
Uh, uh, Real quick, you spent a lot of time in the military. I spent a lot of time on film sets and like conventions and on and bounty, but like you can't use a lot of words. Like, when are they ready? 5 minutes. Copy that. Like, how much longer? Yes. And so you learn like this real
Yeah.
shorthand. I had a boss, CEO. It was a nightmare to everybody. Whenever he asked me a question, I just knew enough to be like, yes, no, I'm good. And he loved it. Like he didn't want
Just give
people.
me the
Yeah,
information.
exactly.
But
Like,
in order to give crisp communication, you have to be prepared and you have to be thinking ahead
yeah, I guess that's why he
and not
liked me.
reactive. Yeah.
That's fair, because I would just be like, "No, yes, I'm good. Yeah, we'll go over there." Like other
Well, you
people try to,
anticipated it. You were ready. You were prepared to be able to answer in a short amount of time.
and then, but like I just knew him. Like I just knew the way. And so a lot of people would try to chat with him. He's like, "No." So, but in this movie, it was like you have to relay information perfectly back to this guy, or it's life or death. And like that scene in the water when they release that canister that shoots like an Alka Seltzer in the water.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "Hey, I apologize. I should have picked up on it sooner." And he's like, "Yeah, but you did a great job, and this is a crazy time, and you did the right
It
thing.
was
Like
new
this is, yeah,
technology.
new technology, exactly." And like he handled that really well. Would you have liked it if that guy was like, "Hey, I think this is this," probably, but I also think, I don't know, I also think he just knew better than to get on the guy, and they all learn from it. So, and also I don't want everyone thinking I'm like a good manager here. I'm just trying to relay stories about like good managers and how you learn
Yeah.
to work with them. So I've made many, many, many mistakes in my life, but I do think like, yeah, the one thing I did learn, like you said, is shorthand with people. I just learned to give as much
Well,
information as quickly as possible in as few amount of words.
Yeah, but you learn how to become a good boss by making mistakes
Yeah, that's true.
too. I mean, you got to thrust yourself into these situations. And a lot of what we're sharing is just from life experiences where I could have done something better. Or, yeah, I'm in the military. So I have a lot of leadership studying that I've done in the past. So I pick up on different things in movies.
I think one time I was a boss and I didn't do a good job because I thought I was coming in to help with a job, but like I basically just the guy above me was a complete micromanager and just took everything away. And so then it just became this thing that everything had to go through him. So then no one really cared what I had to say anymore. Then I didn't really know what was going on. And then everyone was kind of mad at him. And it was just like a total
Mhm.
cluster for a while. And so I think that's the year that I probably could have been a better boss. I just didn't know how. I don't think I was equipped for it yet. And so, but like a
Takes time.
bad boss is just a bad boss. And like none of these are
Yeah.
bad, but like none of them sowed like insecurity within the team or like played them against each other. Like this Captain Krause is like, I don't you know what's interesting? You know, we've seen him in Bridge of Spies, we've seen him in Saving Private Ryan, but this is kind of a different one. He's all one thing I like is there's no weakness in here. I feel like in a lot of military movies, there's always a bad leader, like who's like even in Aliens, like there's always a bad guy, like a guy
Yeah.
gets brought in, he makes a huge mistake, and then they take over for him. Like there's always that bozo. So it was nice in this one where he's like, even when he's talking on the radio, he's like, "Safe sailing, good luck. Like we'll try to keep with you." Like just you get thrown immediately into it, and you're watching capable people for 80 minutes. It's a short
Well,
movie.
they put enough of the self-doubt in here too, where he struggled with decisions. Like he overexpended some of his munitions with the
Yeah,
decoy, and one of his officers gave him a hard time about it. And that one really hurt him. There's also other moments of self-doubt in there that kind of balanced it, where you're a good leader, but we're all human, and we all doubt ourselves sometimes.
yeah. I mean, you're gonna make wrong decisions out there probably because you want to be safe.
Yeah, you want to
Like,
survive that
yeah.
mission. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like ordering 200 extra pallets or getting the print wrong on a brochure where, instead of like where were we at? We were at a city and instead of like Columbus, it was like, you know, Columbus, like one of the letters was left out. Like that's a you can live off that. But I mean, it's tough because you got if you don't but if he didn't act and they got blown up, then that would have been no good. So it's interesting. You're like, yeah, I messed up there, but
What was
I'll
your
learn
favorite
from
Hanks moment from the movie? And what makes this movie different from Saving Private Ryan
well, I
from his
think
performance?
so. I think the morning, right? Like, remember the morning when he's just getting ready and he's praying, and then he goes and eats breakfast, and he just has his coffee and he has his breakfast delivered to somebody else. It's just, I don't know. I really enjoyed him existing in this world in the beginning and just watching him. No, just everyone likes him on this boat. Like, he's just a good leader. I don't know. I really like that. Like, it's just
Just a case study in leadership is what I took from it too.
and yeah, I mean, I went through a bunch of articles and they're like everything you could learn from this movie. And I'm like, well, man, there's a bunch of these. But yeah, they're like bring solutions. And like whenever his team talks to him, like, hey, we can't do this, but we can do this. Like I hate it on set, like when people are like, we can't do this. Like, oh, what can we do? Like, give me something. So I like that, his team brings him solutions. They but he also trusts them. But I think just the whole food thing. I don't know. For some reason I like the food thing. It was like we want to keep him fed, but he knows he's too busy to get fed. And it kind of makes you sleepy. So give it to somebody else. Like it was a good bit in the movie, very humanizing. So I'm gonna say
I
that.
loved when the Germans came over the radio. They
Oh, the
got on the
wolf.
same freak and they were doing the wolf
More.
cry, and then everyone just sitting there listening. And you could tell it was terrifying the crew. So he was the one that shut it
Yeah.
down.
Go to channel Z or whatever. Like he
He
said,
was thinking,
yeah.
yeah. Switch it. So we talked about all right, Tom Hanks is the warrior boss. Sam Rockwell as Owen and the way back was the mentor boss. Rebecca Hall and Godzilla times Kong New Empire was the top of the game boss. Anthony LaPaglia as Joe in Empire Records. That's the authentic boss. And Regina Hall is the from Support the Girls is the I got your back boss. I mean, there's a lot of good different styles in here. And so which let's play theoretically, which one of these bosses could do all the jobs of everyone else we've talked about today?
Well, Sam Rockwell, no.
No, he can't command a ship. Yeah.
He could run a restaurant. No, he couldn't run a restaurant.
It's too like, yeah, it's too demanding.
LaPaglia could run a restaurant. Yeah, LaPaglia could run a restaurant and a water park. I think he could do that, right? Like so he could run a record store and he can run a restaurant. I wouldn't trust him on a boat. I wouldn't trust him in Middle Earth.
With just him on a boat.
So he could do a water park, he could do a and a record store and a restaurant. So he could do 3 of the 5. Tom Hanks could not. I would not want him running a double whammies or an Empire Records or a water park.
I think I mean, he's capable of it, but whether he would be engaged and invested in the operation is another story.
Yeah, he would take all the life out of it, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like all the misfits at Empire Records would not be able to have that much space.
Gosh, no. So then it's got to be Rebecca Hall because she'd be way overqualified, but she could run a water park, and then she could easily run a record store. Like that would be maybe too easy for her, but she's still open and she's cool. So I think she would let people be that. Like Dan Stevens is totally himself in this movie, and she gets a podcaster, so she welcomes personalities.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She could run a
Yeah,
restaurant.
she's got her foot in the strategic and a foot in the tactical and the interpersonal from what she's proven. Yeah, she's the top pick for me.
And then she would get the back. She would get everyone's back and support the girls. And then I think she would be great on Greyhound. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much she knows about boat combat, but she sort of survived a boat with Kong. And I think she told them to let Kong go. Remember that? She's like, let Kong go or he's dead. So even when she's on a boat, when monsters are fighting, she can still give clear directions.
Yeah, just give her a crash course in surface warfare. I mean,
she
she already has 2
PhDs.
PhDs.
Yeah.
And then learn, go to school for a couple years, knock it out, and she be up and running in no time.
Yeah. So I think the ultimate boss here, like Hanks could do them all, but I don't want to see that. So I'm gonna go with Rebecca Hall.
I agree. She wins our boss tournament.
I like that. And hey, before I forget, I asked MFF on Facebook for their favorite bosses, and I asked for like
some funky answers. That you
I
got
asked
on
for I asked for an earnest list, and most of them are pretty earnest here. So let me read them. Jack Austin said he wants to work for the Baskin Robbins guy from Ant-Man. He's actually pretty chill. And then Max said he would work for Captain America and Hathaway from The Intern, and anyone from Google from The Internship. Lisa Leahy said Joe Clark from Lean on Me. Niall Moore said he would work for James Kirk or Marco Ramius, but we're doing a Star Trek series, so it's been fun going through that. Kirk's a good leader. And then we have John Wheeler, but he said Fred from VFW because he just leads everybody. He's a good leader during a siege. Reese Dunlap said James Gammon from Major League, Lou Brown, which is amazing.
From Major League?
Yeah.
That's authentic. That's the authentic boss.
I love this British shit. Paul Sorvina, Goodfellas. And he said Tom Hanks and Tom Sizemore from Saving Private Ryan. Good call. David Thompson says Ethan Edwards from The Searchers. I mean, he's dedicated. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a good one. Yul Brynner from The Magnificent Seven. Chris Larrabee Adams. And then there's Frank Towns, Jimmy Stewart from Flight of the Phoenix. Great pull. Major John Reisman, Lee Marvin from The Dirty Dozen, and Ellen Ripley from Alien. I mean, yeah, because Ellen knows what's up. Like she calls everything in that movie, so you'd want to work for her.
Is she the top of the game boss or the warrior boss?
Well, she's right about everything. So I guess top of the game. Yeah, like she just has to deal with like Ash the android lets the alien on, and she's the one keeping her head about everything. So like Wayland screws like company screws her over, but she's right about everything. And then we have James Thompson, Sergeant Zim from Starship Troopers. He's great.
He was the hardcore drill sergeant.
Yeah, Ironside.
But he got shot, and that's when Rico took his place.
Yeah, he gets his arm bit off, doesn't he? Yeah, he goes in, he has his arm off, and then he takes over. Then we have Egg Shin from Big Trouble in Little China, which is amazing. He'd be a good boss. And then Buckaroo Banzai. I would love to be on his crew.
Who is that? I don't know.
Oh, but it's a cult classic movie called Buckaroo Banzai, and it's really good. Like it's about these dudes who fight aliens, and it's really funny. Allie Maxwell says Morgan Freeman, God from Bruce Almighty. Josh Hartnett, Evan the Sheriff from 30 Days a Night. He's a good leader in that. I like Evan. And then Ving Rhames from Pulp Fiction. That's an interesting one. Nicholas Rehak, Sporting Goods Manager, Seth Rogen in Step Brothers. Marty Baron, Liev Schreiber in Spotlight. Oh, that's a good editor. And Jack Crawford in Manhunter. If you've never seen Manhunter, it's a gorgeous film, and he's a great boss, Dennis Farina. That's a really fun poll. Norbert said Alonzo from Training Day. And that's
Why? Because he's strategic and
I mean,
he sticks up for his team.
he's loyal, I guess. You're gonna trust him. And then the most popular one was from William Underwood. It got a bunch of likes and loves. But he said Gary Oldman's Commissioner Gordon, and then Captain O'Hagan from Super Troopers, and then M from 007. I love Captain O'Hagan. Like, he has the craziest crew of people in Vermont.
Who is that? Oh,
Brian
Super
Cox.
Troopers.
Yeah, Super Troopers. I'm sorry. But yeah, he's in charge of like the weirdest group of cops ever, and everyone just loves him. So yeah, I'm gonna Captain O'Hagan from Super Troopers. That was a really funny pick, but we got a lot of stuff on that, so that was fun.
Wasn't Jane Lynch on 40-Year-Old Virgin? Wasn't she a manager to what?
Yeah, and she was like a leader of something in Role Models too. She was funny in that one as well. I'd work for Jane Lynch.
Because I'd be laughing the whole time.
She has scenes with Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd in Role Models that just are so funny. Like, I forget what the dialogue is, but it just pops between them. Yeah, I'd work for Jane Lynch. But yeah,
Yeah.
this was a great idea, Eric. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, it was different. And I hope we added something to the movie bosses literature out here. And maybe we could do a part 2 sometime.
I mean, listen, we got to support the girls and Greyhound.
Watch it again.
Yeah, man, dope movies, really good movies. They need more support. Support the girls.
It's streaming on Hulu, so
Yeah.
I'm sure most people will have it available.
Man, it's such a good movie. I was just, I just stopped and was thinking about it. So that's not good podcasting. So Eric, any thoughts before we get out of here?
No, that was a great time. I look forward to part 2 of the great movie boss debate.
Oh man, I like it. If you have any recommendations, send them our way. So this was great, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Eric Hoffmeyer, this is Movie Sons of Flicks. We'll see you next week.